So I'd like to open up this February course journal by addressing what I think is one of the overall themes in the class, one of the overall motifs in the class, which is the question of where do we draw the line in using instructional technology with our instruction. What is best for the student versus what is best for the teacher. The student is only able to do so much. They're only capable of absorbing so much information, and they're only capable of just doing so much in a given day or in a given time period. And the teacher is comfortable with what they're comfortable with, and it kind of goes back to the TPAC. They're comfortable with so much technology, they're comfortable with however they're teaching, and they're comfortable with their content knowledge to a certain degree in all of the directions. So the sweet spot of education is finding where all of those three things that the teacher knows intersects with what the student is learning, and where it kind of meets in the middle. Specifically with technology in regards to this class. And I mean, it's kind of easy to plot. Like you can put up the y-axis here, which would be what the teacher knows, and then you can put down the x-axis here, which would be what the student knows. Now, going from this direction to this direction, the student is it's gonna be a law of diminishing returns in effect. So they're gonna be going up and up and up. But at a certain point, the technology is going to become too much where it becomes a hassle, and so at that point, it's going to kind of plateau out. Whereas the teacher is probably going to be comfortable with no technology in the class. Most teachers would be comfortable sitting up in front of the classroom and talking about what they know, what they love, what they've studied their entire life, and talking about that intelligently. And the more technology you add to it, the less and less effective they get at it. Now, or the less and less effective they are at doing that thing that they're doing. Now, it's finding that sweet spot is somewhere in this area. It's going to be the point where the teacher's knowledge and the teacher's instructional capabilities with technology intersect with the student's ability to use that technology. Now, where is that intersection? That's a good question. How do we decide what that intersection is, and how do we prepare for that intersection in our classrooms? Deciding is really about comfortability with that technology versus student readiness with that technology. We're going to have students that are above and beyond our heads with technology by the time we actually get into classrooms. There's 12-year-olds that know more than I do about the average computer. And my comfortability level and your comfortability level with that technology is going to be a very deciding factor in how much you decide to implement in the classroom. So we have to find a good sweet spot versus where we're comfortable with and where the student is ready at. So that intersection is that thing, that sweet spot is what we're looking for. Now, how do we prepare to get into that sweet spot? And that's a good question. Right now, we know as much as we can know. We learn as much as we can possibly learn about everything related to instructional technology, whether that's finding out new technologies, figuring out what is available, and just determining what we think is going to be our appropriate style. Later, then, when we're actually in the classroom, the only real way to do or to learn is by doing. So we get in there and we experiment. And we implement things that we're not comfortable with, because even if the student's not comfortable with it, eventually we're going to be comfortable enough with it to teach the students. And later on, way down the road, 30, 40 years down the road, when we are, near the end of our careers, the important thing is to be a lifelong learner, to be capable of ingesting new information and implementing it into what we're doing every day. Because this is what we're going to be doing every day. And being capable of being a lifelong learner is going to be insurmountable in terms of payoff, and in terms of teaching, and in terms of doing the thing that whatever you're doing in life, be a lifelong learner. So I think the overall theme of the class versus what is best for the student and what is best for the teacher can best be answered through a good self-reflection and a good honest assessment of where you're at.